Hi, and welcome to the Success Path show, where Christian business owners share their tips for success to show you how to succeed more effectively with your kingdom goals. Now, the other day we interviewed Katie Marie, and now we're interviewing her husband, David Hughes. And David is passionate about living a maximized life and empowering others to do the same by helping people find, follow, and fulfill their God-given dreams and purposes. He's an author, a speaker, entrepreneur, business owner, investor, licensed realtor, real estate investor, and real estate investing coach. David, what don't you do? And since an early age, David dreamed of owning businesses and having the freedom to live life full time with his future wife and family, pursuing all of their dreams together. David's diligence and passion to provide clients with excellent service has always been his number one goal in business. And what's fabulous is that David turned $12,000, is that right? 12,000 into over $3 million worth of real estate on a part-time basis. Not only has he created a healthy real estate portfolio for himself and his family, but he's helped countless others also find success in real estate investing. And what's more is that in 2015, David met and married the love of his life, Katie Marie. Welcome, David.
Thank you so much, Violet. I'm just so excited, blessed, honored to be here on your show. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this is awesome. And I'm so excited about what you're going to share and about everything that God has been doing in your life over the past around 10 months or so. Is that right?
Yeah, well, it's like every day I'm blown away by his goodness, faithfulness, just his abundant supply in all things, spiritually and naturally. And so yeah, I'll definitely give a snapshot of the latest things that God's been doing in our life, in our businesses. It's just amazing how he multiplies. If we just look around in nature, I mean, everything was meant to multiply. Everything was that he has created was meant to multiply. Humans, the animals, nature, the trees, we look around. And so even himself, he was sown as a seed to multiply a greater harvest for the Father, reconciliation, not just for the saving of few, but of many. And so if we always remind ourselves of that truth, that is our Father's heart, and whether it feels like it or seems like it, or maybe it's not, maybe you don't feel like your life's multiplying right now in abundant ways, just know that is his design and purpose, and it is available to you. And so I'm excited to be here today just to speak some of the things I've learned along the way, that not only on the good side of things to do, but also learning things of what those snags, those hangups, those traps are that keep us held back living a limited life when we were designed and created to live a limitless life. We were designed, each of us, every single one of you all listening to this, you are designed in the image of the limitless God to live a limitless life. And so whether you've held yourself back, you felt like other things or situations have held you back, I'm excited to bring encouragement and truth today, just from our story and what we've learned and experienced on both sides of the coin. I've been in places of extreme struggle, and been amazing places of abundance, and just share the things that I've learned that can bring hope, freedom, and abundance to the listeners here today.
Yeah, and I love that you say limitless life, because with God, nothing is impossible. And even though sometimes we forget and we get stuck into our human nature, and I know we were talking before about, that we're meant for more than just living a basic human life, but we're supernatural beings. And with God, all things are possible. So God has done some amazing, amazing things in your life. But at the beginning of your life, you kind of had some struggles that you went through.
Yeah, let's dive right into that. So on a personal note, on your point, Violet, which is so powerful, I'm going to show you all right now something that according to man is impossible. I'm going to show you all living proof. And that's this one right here, baby. If you can come on set.
Oh, Katie's coming in.
This one right here is Katie Marie. Hey. Katie Marie Hughes. Hey, baby. And I will tell you all, Straight up, she is not my dream girl. You need to know this. She is definitely not my dream girl. She is my far beyond all my dreams girl.
Wow.
That literally, that's who God is, and that's what he always does. When we get out of the way and truly let him have the lordship and the leadership of our life without mixing our way. That's why he says, lean not on your own understanding, all those things. Why? Because what he does every time is exceedingly abundantly above anything you can ever ask, think, hope, or imagine. In all areas, not just in the realm of marriage, business, health, relationships, finances, in all the ways, because he is the way and he created all ways. All ways of life flow from the way, the person, him, God in Christ Jesus. So therefore, this one right here is living proof of this point. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're at today in waiting for a spouse, maybe in a problematic, troubled relationship, maybe feeling like you're held back or you've been delayed, your dreams have been delayed, because we've been there. Yes. You know, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. And so, you know, it's all in the book. The answers are all in the book. He gave us, he is the answer. And he also wrote it down for us just to help us out extra as well. So anyway, so yeah, let's go back. But I wanted to bring Katie Marie on here also, just as living proof to all of you all. And if you missed her segment with Violet, make sure and go catch that on the other episode where she shares and pours out her story and her journey and all the different things. Was so powerful what she shared. So I'm excited for you all to hear that as well. But, you know, for us, just like in the relationship with the Lord, you know, there's a big difference. This is one of the things I've learned. I don't know that I've ever heard a human say this, but I believe God really told me this and showed me this. In marriage, just like in our relationship with God, there's a huge, vast difference between togetherness and oneness. Because, see, we can be together physically, even emotionally, mentally, whatever. We can be in the same room. We can be in the same. A lot of people might be together in their household with their spouse, with their children, but they're not in one accord. They're not in that deep intimacy that's available, and God makes it available for all of us, and he shows us how to live in it and walk in it and experience the heaven on earth living in our marriage, in our family, in our business, in our health, in our relationships. So anyway, that's just something right there that's core of everything we do. And what we've learned is that, and we run all of our businesses together. We are together, you know, all of our businesses are mobile. So we work from the beach, the home, wherever we're at, you know, we work is really our play. It's all intertwined. We love what we do.
I love that. Work is really your play.
Our work is really our play.
Yeah.
Our play is really our work, because we're living our passions. And and one of our main passions is to help people unlock and unleash living their passions.
Yes.
Because that's God's purpose for each and every one of us, is to not live some mediocre or average life. But here's how I tell people. One of the ways you can know if you're walking with the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, intimately and deeply and for real, is that your life will be the greatest reality show that's never been seen. It will be, because his norm is the unprecedented. That's what he told me years ago. Meaning that your life, like the Bible says, is to be that living epistle, that living letter to be read and seen and heard by all across the world. Meaning your life, he has a plan and purpose to make your life into such a jaw-dropping, showstopper message to the world. You can't even imagine it. If we were to tell you right now what his plans are for your life, if we knew them, you probably wouldn't believe them. It's that good. It's better than good. He wants to bless you so far more than you want to be blessed. And the quicker you realize that that's who he is and that's his heart for you, the more the easier and the simpler it becomes to let go of all the weights that so easily entangle us, beset us, hold us back, holding on to this habit, this wrong relationship, this internal narrative we tell ourselves, all those things that self-sabotage ourselves from the truth of who he made you to be and who he says you are, because that's all that matters, is the truth. So on a personal level, and on the marriage, so all that we do in our business and life flows out of, number one, my relationship union with him. The reason the abundant fruit is in our life and our health, relationships, finances, our marriage, our businesses, is because I'm hooked up to abundance himself. Abundance is a person. Because, see, everybody thinks they're pursuing this goal, this dream, this financial freedom, abundance, whatever it is, not realizing that just step into abundance himself. Because I say it like this: when we're driving down the road, we hear the Christian music come on and songs talk about, Jesus is enough for me. God is enough, he's enough for me. I'm like, no, 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 no.
Mm-mm.
He's not enough. He's so far beyond more than enough that we
Come
can ever
on.
need, want, hope, dream, desire, that like, he's not just enough. He's not enough. He is the overflow Father. He is the Father that rolls out a feast. And so what happens is he rolls out a banqueting table for his children all day, every day, whether we realize it or not, or partake or not, that's the ball's in our court. And so again, it's coming into, first off, agreement with who he says you are and what he says you can do. Because if you're saying anything about, I can't do this or I can't do that, you are arguing with God. You're arguing with your creator. That's the clay saying to the potter, no, I can't be who you already created, designed, equipped me to be. So we have to first come into agreement with him about who he says that I am. I might not feel like it. I might not even believe it. But if I start confessing it and renewing my mind and just wanting to agree, at least he honors that. So on a personal level, that's what happened in our marriage. This right here is impossible, according to all the experts in the world, to marry, like, she had, well-intended people for the years. She was like, she didn't date for like anybody for like 7 years before meeting me. So we waited our whole lives for each other. And our prayer was this: God, I want your handpicked best one for me or nothing. And when you go all in with God, I promise you, he will show out. He will show all out through your life, in every area of your life. But the real question is, are we going all in with him for real? And so that's a matter of trust. It's always a test of trust. No matter where you're at in life or what you're going through, what you're facing, it always boils down to one core thing. It's a test of trust, always. What is the core of every relationship? Trust. God's question, he told me this. He woke me in the middle of the night a few years ago and told me this. Every relationship, the core is trust. He said, so you're really, whether you realize it or not, consciously or subconsciously, you're always asking me, can I trust you? Because if we really did, we would take the big leaps of faith that we should and that we wish we would and that he wants us to, right? Stepping out of the boat, walking on water, living the kingdom miraculous life that all of us are invited to live with him. Now, while I'm asking, can I trust you? He's asking the same question back to me. Can I trust you to trust me? That's God's question to each of us right now, today and every day. Can I trust you to trust me? So on a personal level, this became everything and more that I ever asked for, dreamed for, prayed for. That's a whole story in and of itself. Our marriage, we commit our lives to each other the fifth night on the phone, hadn't even seen each other, no FaceTime. Fifth night on the phone, divine signs learned.
No FaceTime.
No FaceTime. We commit our lives to each other to get married fifth night on the phone. I proposed to her 40 minutes after meeting her in person for the first time ever. Married 19 days later. So that's jam-packed with a whole other crazy God story from their time. So on a personal level, I grew up in a household, amazing parents, amazing family, siblings, a foundation of faith, learning how to trust God. All that gave me the main thing, which I'm forever thankful for. In the area of finances, it was stress, strain, struggle. My dad ended up taking his life, actually. When I was 27, I'm the oldest of three. My sister was 11 at the time. He battled depression on and off through the years, ended up taking his life. He bought the lie that his family would be better off without him. And so that's the whole, what happened there now. But through growing up in that environment of stress, strain, struggle in the marriage and the household around money, lack of money, and all of that, because dad not working for years at a time, right? Mom's waiting tables, try to keep food on the table, all of that. I tell you all that to say this. Listen, doesn't matter who you are or where you're at right now. I've lived on the other side of money, where there was no money, less than no money, not enough, just enough, struggling. I've been in all those realms. For many years now, we've lived on the other side of money, where we don't have to think about money. There's more than enough money flowing and growing into our life and through our life, where we live on the other side of money. Years ago, I stopped working for money, and I said, I don't want to work for money. I want money to work for me. And everything in your life, every transition, every transformation, every multiplication is always going to start and stay with a decision, period. So some of you all think you've decided to pursue something, pursue God, pursue your dream or whatever, but you probably haven't fully decided. You've said, I'll try it and see if it works. That's not a decision. A decision is burning the boats. A decision is totally different than a consideration, a curiosity. It's full-fledged commitment. That's what a decision is, to follow Christ. Not I'll follow you until it gets inconvenient. Not I'll follow you until. No, a full commitment. Not that we don't mess up along the way, but the commitment is we get up and we keep moving in the direction of our commitment, our decision. So that's where you first have to get real with yourself and see, am I lying to myself, and where am I lying to myself? And am I truly committed to the decision I think and I say that I made? And if not, that's okay. Make it today and move forward from here. So that's what it happened for me. I grew up in that household, and it caused me to make a decision. I'm thankful for what I went through, because everything has been worked for my good and multiplied for my good and God's glory, just like for you, no matter where you're at in the journey right now. It's all for the purpose of being worked for your good and his glory. If, the biggest word in the greatest success book of all time, if. It's all throughout. You can read it. If you're willing and obedient, you will, not maybe so, hope so, you will eat the best of the land if you're willing and obedient. Well, what does that look like? It looks like if, number one, you make the decision, right? And so I'm going through that. I was like, man, I don't want to be in that position with my future spouse and family. So it all started with a decision. I can track back all the fruit in our life now and through all the years to a decision, every time, to a decision, and then a commitment to follow through on that decision, slipping, stepping, falling along the way. It doesn't matter. It's messy for all of us. Just know that. I was a prisoner of my own body for probably 2 years, 3 years, a prisoner of my own body, extreme valley of shadow of death in health, crash after being the pinnacle of a college athlete. So been there in struggles in health, not just monetarily in finances, but in my body. Maybe you're there struggling in health, finances, whatever it is. Continue pressing into abundance himself in an intimate relationship. Because here's the thing. He's got all the keys to the kingdom. But here's my question to you. Do you need a key when there's an open door? Do you need a key to success when there's an open door? The Lord told me that one day. So anyway, that's a whole other story. But he is the open door. You can step into him anytime, all the time. He's open, willing and ready to invite you into new realms and dimensions. And in that place of himself, in union, in relationship, in personal relationship, you realize and see and get understanding from him, imparted and downloaded to you of things that are better than keys. Okay.
So that's my question, David. Like, you keep saying, I heard from God, I heard from God. But what if people have started businesses, invested like millions of dollars maybe, and it didn't work out? And so how do people hear from God?
Okay, this is a great question. Which part did I say I heard from God?
You keep saying that, oh, I heard from God here, I heard from God the other day, I heard from God. How do you know it is God?
Well, just like in marriage, you got to spend time with anybody if you want to learn their voice. So it all starts there. Because everybody wants to hear from God for their lottery ticket number, right? Most people want to hear from God for a personal benefit. That's not relationship. That's prostitution. That's treating him like a prostitute. What's in it for me? Me. No, it's relationship. So learning his voice is going to come out of the place of intimacy. Just like in marriage. In marriage, we seek to serve and support one another and receive from each other both. But how can I take out withdrawals out of an account if I'm not making deposits? So that's where most people are missing it. If they're not hearing from God, they're just not, number one, spending time with God in wholehearted devotion, saying, God, I lay down my life, my agenda, my plans, my will, my purposes for you. I want you. I want your life. I want to hear your voice. I want to know who you are. I want to ask him, give me ears to hear you, Lord, daily. For years I've prayed, Lord, give me ears to hear you more clearly. Give me eyes to see you, ears to hear you. Give me a receptive heart and mind, sensitive and receptive to you, your voice, your leading, your guiding. I want to lay aside all my human intellect, my understanding. The Bible says, lean not on your own understanding. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Why does he tell us that? It's for your own good. It's for our own good. Because if we lean on our own understanding with all the best intentions in the world and all the best effort, it's just going to lead to a life of frustration and missed maximum purpose. And that's where most people live their lives. So to answer your question, Violet, I would say the answer that I've found in hearing his voice more and more along the way is by just spending time with him and cultivating a true, genuine, personal relationship. And for those of you who are already in a relationship, go deeper. Spend more time, prioritize that relationship with him over everything else, and you'll experience him more than you ever have before. He says, seek me with all your heart, and you'll find me when you do that. If you don't know God at all, call on him. He will be found today. Today's the day of salvation. So call on him and say, God, I don't know what's up with you, life, who people say you are, whatever. Go directly to the source. Don't try to find him through people. That's why there's confusion in religion and Christianity all over the world. Nobody can agree on anything about what the Bible's saying. Go to him directly and ask him to show himself to you who he is. He's the best at doing that. And the more you do that, the more you seek, the more you find. And it's just like anything, a child growing up with parents, spending time with him, seeking him, the more we hear his voice and learn along the way.
So David, what if somebody says, hey, I thought I heard from God. I did all of this for God and it failed. And now, I have to give up on entrepreneurship, give up on, having this business. Like, How do you encourage somebody like that?
Great question, Violet. And the first thing is go back to him, the Father. Don't run from him, run to him.
Mm.
Because here's the thing, if you got food poisoning at a restaurant, would you never go to any restaurant ever again in your life?
Mm.
If you had a bad experience at one church, does that mean that all churches are bad and you should never go to church and fellowship with amazing people that can pour into your life and transform your life?
Right.
You know, if you had a friend betray you, does that mean you should never have another friend or learn how to become a good friend and build friendships? No. We've all been burned. We've all had bad experiences, but it's about personal perspective and personal choice, because life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. Whether you realize it or not, that's the truth. Life happens for us, not to us. It's God, it's all a test of, are we going to learn to get the perspective he tells us to have? And the right perspective is his perspective every time. So the best thing we can do is, whatever you feel like your faults, your failures, your frustrations, your shortcomings, run to the one who made you and knit you together intimately in your mother's womb. He knows you better than you know yourself, and he knows you better than anybody knows you. Now, there's wisdom and counsel. Yes, there's power. And that's a principle he made, the law of association. He who walks with the wise becomes wise. So put yourself around people who have, okay, so to answer that question also, Violet, if you're struggling financially or in business entrepreneurialism, my question to you, back to you, would be, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you getting advice from? And then consider the source. Who's speaking into your life? Is it friends and family that have no experience on making millions of dollars? Or becoming an entrepreneur, an investor, being successful spiritually, physically, in marriage, health, relationship? Who are you listening to? Who's speaking into your life? Who are you positioning yourself around? Because you are really the combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with: health, relationships, finances. You will become who you put yourself around. That's just the law. God made it. That's the way it works. So, but you get the power of choice to choose yourself, who you position yourself around. So just start choosing better, choosing different. It's not that these people are better than these people, but they're better for you and the purpose of where you're wanting to go. So you need to choose to put yourself around the people you want to be more like. And that starts with Jesus. We should want to be more like him. So am I putting myself around him first and spending time alone with him? Because Jesus modeled that. He often withdrew to lonely places to be alone with God. So if he needed to be alone, we need that alone time just as much or more so, right? And so that principle, most people aren't following that, and therefore they have a certain degree of confusion. They have misperceptions about their failures or what wasn't a failure that they're. Here's a book they should read, Violet, to your question.
Okay.
John Maxwell. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Lose is marked out. And when you read that book, it will change your life forever. If you're struggling with, I've tried entrepreneurialism, I've tried going after my dream, I've tried launching this business or launching this book or whatever those things are, and I tried, and it didn't happen for me. It must be something about me. No, it's something about your perspective, not you personally. You're infinitely valuable and infinitely capable of everything and more than you now realize. Now, here's the thing, though, you got to realize is you got to renew your mind, reprogram your mind. You got to unlearn in order to learn. And the way you do that is read that book, and it'll show you. You never lose. It's all gain and it's all win. Anything you felt like you lost or you felt like you failed at, that's just a wrong perspective. Once you learn different and better, you'll see the truth for what it is in terms of yourself, your life, your path, your purpose, your dreams. And that book's going to help you big time.
Awesome. And we only have about a few minutes left, so I want to make sure that we cover the freebie that you have, because it's a very special one that you've prepared. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So the whole point of the SuccessPaTh method, well, there's lots: marriage, businesses, health, all the different things, right? But what we chose for this segment was, on a part-time basis, turning $12,000 into over $3 million worth of real estate that, pumps out multiple 6 figures a year for us. That's why for many years now, we've been able to live life full-time, freely, and abundantly, pursuing all of our dreams, helping other people pursue their dreams and all of that. Now, a freebie for those of you all in Violet's amazing audience, we're giving you the link will be, I guess, in here around. She'll make sure you get it. It's a video called, I think it's called Creative Partnering. And it's actually some of our premium content that the only people who have access to that have actually paid for our full Simplified Investing video course or our private coaching. So they're the only ones who actually have access to that. It's a paid for product, but because Violet's amazing and you all are amazing, we wanted to sew back in and give this gift. It's powerful. What can it do for you? First, it's going to show you, open your eyes to some amazing things. Secondly, it will make you a money magnet. Who would like to become a money magnet where money flows to you That's what it can and will do for you when used properly. Because when you just literally show people this and you learn some of the things on how to source profitable real estate deals, people will want to throw their money at you. They will want to literally give you large amounts of, well, different, all kind of amounts of money to put their money to work for them in the way that I show in that video. So that's going to be a big help to you. So check that out. And we're just thankful to be here with you, Violet, and that we've met. So if there's ever anything we can do to serve you and your mission and what you're doing and your audience, we're excited to do so.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So you heard it here, exclusive content for the audience of the SuccessPaTh show. So exciting. And David, where can people follow you? What are your social media handles so that people can connect with you?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, it's David B Hughes, David B as in boy, Hughes, Hughes 55. So David B Hughes 55 on Instagram. On Facebook, if you type in David B Hughes with a space, David space B space Hughes, I should be one of the first ones that pop up there. And then, so from there, yeah, if you connect there, you'll see what else we're doing with our other companies and communities and things, because we do it all together. And like I said, you all make sure you hear everything that she poured out in her session, Katie Marie, because it was so powerful as well. We'd love to connect with you all and do life together and just empower you in any way that we can.
Well, I praise God for everything God has done in your life, is still doing in your life, and all the amazing connections that he's bringing around you. So just such an impressive example of God's goodness and blessings. So I really appreciate both of you being here. And if you like this content, press like and also subscribe so that we can bring you more content like this and provide success tips for you to be able to reach your kingdom goals. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode. God bless.